still
I think it
fail
should be
the
25%.
exam.
Okay, so we're going to get away from, we're always going to go in the direction of sealed proficiency, but I like this idea as well. So,
Yes.
everybody understand what we're talking about here is a portion of your final grade. So you're going to be required to take a test based off the immigration testing that's currently in place. You're going to take that, and it's going to be, so it's mandatory that you take that as a part of this class, and it's going to count as part of your final grade. Now, last, and do we require, so we're not going to mandate you pass that test, it's just going to be part of the grade. We all understand that?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're generally there now, and I will wordsmith this here as we discuss the next bill. So, just so we're all on the same page, we like that we're going to require a civics class. Do we care what grade? Do we want to talk about 10th grade, 11th grade? Do we want to say 12th grade? Or prior?
I was kind of thinking like 11th and 12th, so that way they have like a 2-year knowledge of it, even though it's going to be like half a semester. So if we do 2 years, that gives one whole year-round class of that, so that way they have a pretty good knowledge of what civics and how our government, how our legislation works.
Everybody agree? 11th, 12th grade, raise your hand. You think that's just generally put civics class in 11th or 12th grade? Anybody have any concerns on that? Excellent. Okay, so do we want to get rid of any other testing? Do we want to delve into that? We talked about the Keystone and Senator. We are on the civics test. We like the idea overall of having a civics, teaching civics. Instead of just talking about an exam, we're going to require a civics course in 11th or 12th grade. And as part of your final grade on that course, we're going to have the test weigh in on that final grade as opposed to requiring passage on that test. Anybody else want to explain where we're at on this?
That it must be for that the classes that will be taking this for mandatory for half a semester will be 11th and 12th grade, so that way it makes up for a whole grade as a year-round class for one.
Great idea. Terrific.
So we've had a good discussion on this, and so we've come a long way from just requiring a civics test and passage on that to now requiring the civics course and a test that is included in your final grade on the class. So I'll reword some of this, but let's just make a final vote. All in favor of the general concept here. Normally you have everything in black and white here before we vote on it, but I'll come up with that before we leave before we get on the floor here. So who supports this legislation we're talking about here? The course and a test. All in favor, say raise your hand. Those opposed, raise your hand. Unanimous. Excellent. So we started off debate on this one. We had, what did we have? 4 people, or it was 4 on the initial bill. How many opposed the bill as originally written? Just 2 or 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now it's unanimous. So again, we're talking about compromise and coming up with an even better product here in the end.
And this is what we do a lot, and oftentimes in committee, is we work out our differences of opinion and try to amend the legislation so that we do have a unanimous vote. Most of the times we get there, not every time, but that's exactly how the process works. As a committee, that's where we do a lot of the work on the legislation. So great job. Now, did they make it as a mandatory requirement for graduation then? That do you have to pass the test or just take the test?
Not a graduation requirement, correct, everybody?
Yes, sir.
So
Okay.
we're going to require that you take the class. So the test or the class is mandatory, and the test is mandatory. Passage of the
Okay.
test the test grade is incorporated in your final grade for that class.
Great job, guys.
The class is mandatory to graduate.
Good Thursday morning. It is Holly here from the Record Argus, standing in the Student Government Symposium hosted by Senator Michelle Brooks here at Thiel College, involving more than 100 area high school students who are talking about actual bills that our Senate in the state have considered and or will be considering. Be sure to check an upcoming edition of the Record Argus for more information.
Testing company that will make money off of making the new test? Absolutely.
I want to, if we're the committee, I want to make sure that people know that we're doing this for the right reasons and not we're just spending money.
Senator, you want to talk about the appropriations process here and taking that into consideration?
Sure, absolutely, and it doesn't need to be a standardized test. You can put that into your legislation, that it's a test that's developed for each school with civic-minded questions. So it wouldn't then have to have any cost to it because it would be part of the curriculum and not a standardized test where, you know, it's created and then put into the schools, that your actual individual schools could make up and create the test.
So I think we were pretty flexible.
And it gives local flexibility and input as well.
So it was each school entity, the original bill was each school entity shall require students in addition to correctly answer at least 60 questions on a test that is identical to the one under question. So, you know, basically the immigration test, I mean, you already have something, we talked about it earlier. The immigration test is already out there. We can certainly utilize that, so there's no extra cost in this instance in terms of reproducing a test.
Right, so you could actually work in the language that each school district would base their test on this language, so that, again, it's not a standardized test. So you're not teaching to the test. And, you know, that's one of the things that I've really been an advocate for, is that to get rid of some of these standardized tests and have the local schools develop the tests so that you can have interaction in your classes and not just teach to specific questions. And, you know, I'm such a proponent of that. And so we could put that in the legislation, that it could be based on this test, but each school district could develop the curriculum based on this test.
Yeah, so we're silent in the bill as to that, you know, how that civics class is being taught. So that's totally in the school district's domain. The test itself, you know, talks about